What's up, guys? Welcome back to Swanky Disc Golf. Today we are breaking down the top molds from Latitude 64. Let's get into it. Latitude 64, one of our favorite manufacturers from Europe. They make fantastic discs and they have quite a few molds. So this was a difficult list to make. Very subjective list. We're going to get that out of the way right at the beginning. These are opinions only. And these are my opinions only, so please share with me what discs that I have missed that are maybe some of your favorites from Latitude 64. We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments as always. But before we really jump into the list, we need to shout out the sponsor of today's video, Disc Golf Deals USA. They are the perfect sponsor for today's video because we are going to be talking about discs, and hopefully we're going to be showing you guys some new discs that maybe you've not heard of, or at least you've never thought to give a try from Latitude. And if you are thinking about picking one of those discs up that we talk about in today's video, please go over to discgolfdealsusa.com/swankydiscgolf. Using that code is going to get you 10% off of your order, and their selection is incredible. They're going to have every disc I talk about in today's video and more from Latitude. They're going to have all the recent drops from every manufacturer, and they're going to have great deals running all the time. Pre-orders on your new drops, like your favorite stuff coming from whether it's Discraft or MVP or Discmania, all those exclusive drops that are coming all the time. Disc Golf Deals USA has the hookup over there. They really are the best in the business, guys. So if you need a disc, head on over to discgolfdealsusa.com/swankydiscgolf. Get your 10% off and get that sweet, sweet plastic. We all need it in our lives. All right, let's get into the list. Honorable mentions. I'm going to honorable mention a couple of discs. The first is the Rive of the Royal line. Fantastic mold, came out a couple years ago. 13.5 -1.3, definitely a crusher of a disc, but very much more comfortable than the 13 speed would suggest. And there's a couple other discs on this list that I like a little better than it, but the Strive is actually in my bag and I absolutely love it, so had to mention it on the list. And the other is the Honor, another Royal line disc. We've talked about the Royal line at length on this channel. One of the best plastics on the market, so that's just another benefit to all of these discs being available in such fantastic plastic. Latitude makes some of the best, and the Honor is 9502 or 2.5. It's an overstable fairway to slow distance driver. The Honor is a fantastic disc. It's a little bit domey, so if you're throwing backhand, you're probably going to like it more than if you're trying to throw that disc a little bit forehand, but that's just a personal preference for me. I like my forehand disc to be a little flatter. Anyway, those two are honorable mentions. Let's get into the actual list. We're going to go one by one. So number 7 is the Latitude 64 River, one of their most popular discs ever. And certainly it may come to surprise some disc golfers that it's so low on the list. It is popular, and especially with beginners, as that fairway driver, that 7 glide gives it this aura that is somewhat overhyped in my opinion. It's a great disc, but it is it's maybe not one of the best fairway drivers of all time for all disc golfers everywhere, but for beginners it certainly is one of the best fairway drivers of all time. Absolutely worth the hype, and can really grow with you throughout your disc golfing career. I don't think putting a River in your bag as a beginner is a bad idea, because eventually you're going to outgrow it. It's going to be usable in different ways for you for the rest of your disc golfing career. It's just it is a fantastic disc. Maybe don't always believe Latitude when they give you these really high glide numbers. It's hard to compare glide and all numbers across companies, so Latitude has always used really high glide numbers, and we're going to see that again later in this list. But yeah, the River is a fantastic disc, and for many people, their first exposure to Latitude 64, so had to make the list if for nostalgia, if nothing else. The River, one of their best molds of all time. Number 6 is going to be the Claymore. The Claymore is a neutral flying mid, 5.5 -1.1. very comparable to a beloved Discraft disc that it has often been compared to in the Buzz. It has a very similar hand feel. We got the opportunity to test out the Claymore in depth when Kristen Tatar released some special edition Claymores back a few years ago, and that was really my first exposure to the disc because it's not one of their more popular mids. I would say they have probably 3 at least more popular mids in their lineup than the Claymore, but it is a fantastic mold. It had to make the list just based on, I mean, our testing of it alone. I loved it so much. If it hadn't been for the fact that it made Luke's bag, it definitely would have made mine. It is just a great disc. And the fact that I'm comparing it to the Buzz, I mean, you know what I've said about the Buzz and how we feel about the Buzz on this channel. The hand feel is the only thing for me that prevents the Claymore from being further up this list. The hand feel feels a lot like a Buzz, and for me, you know, I prefer the Buzz SS, that more like rounded off rim feel. So the Claymore in this instance, it had to make the list. Fantastic flight, dead straight with a touch of fade at the end of the flight. Brand new out of the box, of course, and you're going to be able to beat that thing in to turn a little bit, but stay relatively straight. Hard to find mids like that. The Claymore is a money mold. Next, we're going to talk about the Saint. The Saint is another driver, another fairway driver. A 9-speed this time. I told you we would get into the high glide again. 9, 7, -1, 2. These numbers are a little bit wild, but get a Saint in your hand and just try it out, and trust me, this thing bombs. For a 9-speed, I don't know that I've ever seen a 9-speed go further. And I compare the Saint a lot to the old Discmania CD2s, more like the new CD1s that they have out. And certainly, I would think they're a little bit more overstable than something like a Dynamic Disc Escape, but you could compare them. So the Saint is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It crushes, and for most people, it's the distance driver that you should be bagging, and we talk about that a lot at Swanky, about how the 9-speed that's a little bit understable that you can get that turn out of, get the full flight. That is most people's distance driver. Disking up to a 10, 11, even a 12 speed for most people yields minimal extra distance and brings in a lot of variability and control. So this 9-speed is your golf shot distance driver, something that you can get a lot of control with, make sure your release point's flawless, and not sacrifice much, if any, distance. So this is not a what should you bag as your distance driver video, but I digress. The Saint, fantastic disc. We're moving on to a distance driver anyway next on the list, so maybe I'm a hypocrite. But number 4 is the Rive from Latitude 64. These are all from Latitude 64. Number 4 is the Rive. The Royal Rive is a very strange disc to me. It's a 13 speed, which I've already said several times that 13 speeds are normally uncomfortable for me. This is also a very overstable distance driver at I think it's 13.503.5, so it's very overstable. But depending on the run, you are getting a disc that perhaps isn't quite as overstable as the numbers suggest. I think most people would agree the Rive isn't quite giving them 0.3.5 stability. The Rive is definitely a disc that if you look at the numbers and think, I can't throw that, I would give it a shot anyway. Try it out. The hand feels phenomenal, and the forehand ability that this disc has to handle a lot of torque, but still get a lot of straightforward momentum before it starts fighting to the right was very unique for me. I threw mine in a lake, but it is one of my favorite discs, and I am looking forward to replacing the Rive. It's a spot that currently sits empty in my bag. I do need something in that slot, and there's not a lot of discs doing what a Rive does. Number 3 is the Pure. It's the first putter on the list, and it's the only putter on the list. Spoiler alert, Latitude 64 makes quite a few putters. The Pure is, in my opinion, the best, most well-rounded putter. If you're going to put a putter in your bag and you want it to be Latitude, make it the Pure, in my opinion. I mean, especially as a throwing putter. I always say that putting putters, comfort is the most important thing, and for me, the Pure is that. But as far as a throwing putter goes, the Pure, it is so fantastic. There's a lot of putters out there that fly like the Pure. Don't get me wrong, it's not breaking ground or anything. But in this lineup, the Pure is fantastic, and they make some really cool designs for the Pure as well. The Kristen Tatar, they plaster wolves all over the Pures. They just have a good vibe to them, and I love the Opto Pures as well. They feel incredible, they look incredible, and the disc flies dead straight. 3-3 -1-1 if I haven't said it already. And for putting as well, they just go where you point them. All right, top two. The Grace is number 2. The Grace is such an awesome disc. This one was, I want to say it was kind of the first to do this, although that is highly debatable, but a slightly less understable Wraith was needed in disc golf. We saw Discraft do it with the Drive right after the Grace came out, and there's a few other discs kind of in that realm. I'm gonna get blamed probably for saying that it was the first to do it, because there are other discs that have come out before this, even from Innova, that were actually an understable Wraith, or like a tick down in stability. But this is the one that Latitude made, of course, in their royal plastic, that really just broke out into the scene, became super popular, and for good reason, because it was those flight characteristics that already existed in the space, to be fair, but for so many people were exactly what they needed. The Wraith may be a little bit too much for them. Let's get the Grace and then have it in this awesome plastic, this Royal Grand plastic that is just incredible. It's one of the top 5, if not the top 3 plastics on the market right now. And it just broke out into the scene and became super popular. Of course, Kristen helped with all of that, with the marketing, and her performing so well on tour when this disc was released. The Grace has maintained its place in disc golf as one of the most popular distance drivers. If you're a beginner and you need a distance driver, the Grace is one of the best options you can go with. You can always get something like a DD or a Hades or something a little bit flippier, or a lot of bit flippier. But as far as a really usable, overstable distance driver that is usable for beginners, intermediate, pros, everyone, the Grace is that. The fantastic disc, and is only missing number 1 by a hair. Guys, if any of these discs are piquing your interest, please go over to discgolfdealsusa.com/Swanky Disc Golf and grab one. Seriously, you're going to get that discount. You're going to get free shipping if you're over $50. And I just checked the website. They're about to list a Opto Ice River that, of course, number 7 on this list. It looks super sick. This like translucent splatter plastic. It looks incredible. Go check them out. Go nab one of those when they release them. That looks fantastic. I'm probably going to go grab one right now after I'm done filming this video. So please go check them out. And before number 1, guys, don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying the content, if it was helpful to you in your search for Latitude's best molds. And also, please subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a lot, and make sure that you don't miss any of our content that we're making, trying to help you guys discover new plastic and just enjoy this hobby that we're sharing. Let's get into number 1. You probably know what it is. It's the Fuse. It's the best mid-range in the Latitude 64 lineup. It's the best disc in their lineup. It comes in at 5.6 -10. It is a very rounded off, comfortable, understable mid-range that goes forever, very straight, and drifts to the right in this beautiful, controllable way that is accessible for both amateurs trying to get distance in the woods and pros looking to dice up fairways, whether they're releasing on hyzer or trying to get huge turnover lines. The fuse is just a whole lot of fun to throw. You guys know understable mids are my favorite genre of disc, and so that is being reflected here. But the fuse is also just, it's historic for Latitude. It's one of their most popular molds of all time, perhaps their most popular. If you play Disc Golf Valley, you should use a fuse. It's the best mid-range in the game, the best putter in the game. So I digress, guys. The fuse is a fantastic disc. If you have never tried one, start there. Absolutely do not. You can go check out the rest of these discs as well, by all means. But please, if you're being introduced to Latitude 64 for the first time in this video, please go buy a fuse. They are fantastic, and that disc will stay in your bag forever. All right, guys, that has been the list. Again, let us know what we missed down below, and we will see you in the next one. Stay swanky.